Hey YouTube, this is Dean making another vid. If you like my content, please consider hitting the like button. Also, please consider subscribing, as it is very much appreciated. Just wanted to do a video today on the rectangular striker I've been making, and the one I made out of a file. These ones in front of you here are made out of W2 bar stock. These are actually designed by my father, and I just wanted to credit him with the design. He actually took it from the Essie clone, or the Essie striker. They make a striker that looks very similar to this. It actually has a divot in the middle so you can use it as a bearing block, but I think he took the design from that, and then he asked me to make one, and then this was the original one that I made. He wanted one, so I made one, and then I thought, well, bugger it, I can't just have one for him and then not one for myself, so I made one for myself as well. I've also sent one to Mark from Eat Carbs Outdoors, for one for him, and I've made these several here. One of them, that's not made out of W2, it was made out of 1095. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. I really like these. These are a simple pattern, but they're effective, and they're really good because of the fact that it takes very little forging involved in it per se. They're just basically cut out of the bar stock, and then you drill a couple of holes in them. The holes are really good. It lightens them up. Also gives you something to hold on to. So that is the advantage of them. Also, they're thoroughly quenched, so you heat them up to bright orange. So past magnetic, so they're non-magnetic when you heat them up. Then you dip the whole thing in water, quenches it, and the whole thing is thoroughly quenched. So they spark on both sides. They all spark about the same. That's both sparking on both sides. I did find it, you can spark up the top here. This one didn't do it very well. Yeah, I get sparks occasionally. The others, this one did spark better up the top there, but I don't worry about sparking up there. You spark on the sides here. They all spark very similar, even the 1075. And then the latest one out of the really thick stock. Now this one is about as thick as I'd ever want to go, because it is starting to get heavy. It's a heavy beast of a striker. And then, sorry, my thoroughly quenched rasp of the same pattern. I didn't worry about drilling holes in it, but that's starting to blunt out already. It does spark very well. But I just wanted to go on about them again. Yeah, very good. I really like them. They're a great pattern, very easy to do. So if you've got the idea of buying a length of bar stock like W2 1075, or work really well 1095, you'll pay the same for 1095 or W2. Well, actually, 1095 and W1 are about the same steel. So if you're buying 1095 or W1, it's the same stock. Basically, they're virtually the similar stock. Yeah, it's a very good idea. Now, these are about what I consider about the perfect size, but make them however you want. They're about 90 mils long, so 3.5 inches long, 1.5 inches wide, or 40 mils thick, 40 mils wide. Yeah, as I said, these are the thicker. This is the thickest stock. 6.5 mils thick. That's that one. That's the same one. Yeah, 6.7. So those are the two thick stock. And then this is the really thick one, 9.6 mil stock. And they're all very similar size one. And this is out of the 1075. It's a slightly thinner, so 5.1 mils. But they're all that very similar size, shape. But I like these. It takes about 15 minutes. And the biggest thing is basically drilling the holes. And now that Jack's got a angular cutter, it doesn't take that long. But with a drill, it is a significant task to drill the holes. But with an angular cutter, yeah, it takes 2 or 3 minutes to drill the big, like these size holes. As you can tell, with a bigger drill, with a normal drill, you can cut bigger holes, but I much prefer the angular cutter. It's a lot better. But yeah, I just wanted to show these off. They are, if you wanted a simple pattern that is an effective thing, it fits in. I designed these to fit in a Altoids tin or generic tin. They work really well. They're flat. They sit in a tin really well. You can spark on either side. They fit in the pinch grip really well. They're just overall, they're a really good design. I really like them. And if you wanted to go the other way and put a divot, like just drill, starting a drill and don't, like, just only go in a little way, you can put a bow hole divot in it there. The only thing with them then is they do get hot when you're using them as a bearing block. So that's the only reason I haven't done that for them. I was going to get embers with them, but I won't. Yeah, we've all seen me using these as I'll get one ember with one of them. Can't make a video without getting an ember. Proof in the concept. I used my original one. I did go through and get all these stones sort of circling through. There we go. I actually think I got that on the first strike, but yeah. Certainly got an ember there. So they certainly work. I like it because you can use it on either side. Doesn't matter which way you pick it up. You can spark on either side. And they do spark very well. I've had really good success with this W2. Yeah, it's fantastic. But you can, as I said, if you're buying rasps, you could certainly make one out of a rasp. They're about the same sort of size. That's a rasp one I did. To drill the holes in the rasp, all you do is normalise it. So just put it in the forge, heat it up, then let it cool. Don't just pull it out of the forge. Get it to bright orange, pull it out of the forge, put it down or put it in vermiculite. Let it cool down over however long it takes to cool down. Then the metal will be soft. You can then drill it. No problems. You'll be able to drill holes in it to get the same pattern. I didn't worry about that with this one. I was going to hot punch it actually and put a lanyard hole in it, but I never worried about that. I just quenched it and got it to spark again, and then that was it. But yeah, these are a fantastic build, and I like them because they're so simple. If I was going to make a pattern that was for to sell, this would probably be one of the patterns I would do because they're so simple and you can punch a heap of them out, get them very even without too much forging involved, and they are effective and easy to use without too much of a problem, but they spark very well. That's what I like about them. And they're not, while they are based on the Essie clone, they're far enough away to say that you're not copying anything. Like, I haven't seen a striker, because they are actually a variation on the B-type. So, yeah, but if you did put a divot in them, you are really close to copying it. But, like putting two holes in a block of steel, you're not really copying anything, and you're making sort of a similar, not a similar thing, but you're making it your own. And yeah, this would be the pattern I would do if I was going to sell a striker as a commercial product, because it's easy to make and it's not a lot of forging involved, and you can punch them out and make them very even, and they're effective. Whereas once you start putting curls and things on them, and that, you could also drop these without fear of breaking them as such, because they're so thick and everything. That they're more robust striker, so that's it, and they fit in tins very easily. There's a lot of advantages to these things over a other striker. They're not pretty or that, but yeah, form and function over looks. Like that's the thing with these strikers. But yeah, certainly would sell my other ones as well if I was ever going to sell them. But this would be my baseline that I'd want to sell to, because you can punch them out and make them a lot easier and actually be able to make money on them as such. Like that. That's what I'm saying, because you could sell them for $20 or $30 and get a reasonable markup on them, because they're not that hard to make and they work well and everything goes about it. Whereas, like, that's not too bad. But the problem is, again, you're competing with Chinese, the SE ones and all that. The SE ones are quite expensive, but the Chinese clones, you can get them for $15. So you don't want to. That's why I'd never try and jump in on the market, because you just can't compete. But anyway, that's the rectangular strikers that I've made. Yeah, I've got a few now, but I don't think I'll be making many more of them. I've got pretty much, yeah, it was just, we were trying out the angular cutter. I always, every time I get a new bar stock, I always want to try it out, because they're such a simple pattern to do, and it's good testing stock. But anyway, I'll cut this off before it goes too long. Thanks for watching.